Americans as a whole were moving away from chain restaurants and towards other alternatives, one of which might have been local breweries that, they bring in food trucks and this and that, or some even have, kitchens on premises and things like that. Now, is that where
I guess
your thought
so.
was going?
Now, I may just be projecting my own personal experience, and granted, there weren't a lot of breweries growing up, but I certainly don't remember
I would hope not.
I don't certainly remember ever as a child going to a restaurant that either had a brewery attached, had a significant beer menu, or anything of the sort. I mean, I remember when I was a kid going to restaurants like the Ground Round, Friendlies. I'm naming a few that are no longer in existence. Bertucci's. I frequently will take my kids to a place like the Yard House, which not exactly a brewery, but a beer-focused type restaurant. Yeah. And I have taken my kids to Trillium in Canton as an example, and Trillium, and maybe I've got to.
Have you seen the new one?
Maybe this is a me problem.
Have you seen?
No, I mean honestly, you go to any of those big, any of those breweries, and half the people there are pushing a stroller,
like legit restaurant at the Trillium one.
Is that a society like? So I'm in a bit of a weird situation because my father, since I've been born, has not had a sip of alcohol, so we wouldn't go to a brewery anyway. But
he would go for the
has
food, though.
Has there been a societal type of change there where like it was less acceptable in our generation to be around a drinking focused event as a child, and it's more acceptable today? I'm not really sure.
I don't know. I mean, you hear an awful lot of stories from, quote, back in the day of, kids hanging out around bars, all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
I was 13 and I used to hang out, at the bar where my dad drank all the,
Yeah.
It's a different setting in that it's a brewery and not specifically just a bar.
Sure.
But I think this stuff has been going on in various phases for forever, Is there, and here's the meat that I wanted to get at. Are Americans as a whole moving away from chain restaurants?
I don't think so.
I think so.
I'm going to say that it's subjective personal experience rather than a key trend. Okay? I think that it is much easier today to find non-chain restaurants, but their popularity is undeniable.
Yeah.
I don't, and I think we're in also a little bit of a Northeast bubble where as much as I might rip on Olive Garden because I find it un-Italian and unappetizing myself, there's a large portion of the population where, hey, an Olive Garden might be the best restaurant that they have within a 50-mile radius.
And
I don't think I'd go.
Honestly.
I'll also be honest,
I keep driving.
So, again, personal experience here. I just drove to and from Chicago. I don't know one restaurant from another out there unless it's a chain. And so if I know there's a chain like BJ's Brew House that I've been to a few times in a few different places that I don't believe we have out here, I'm going to default to that because I know what I'm getting there. And that's, I think, something to be said for chains that exist. Yard House is another one where I know exactly what I'm getting at a Yard House. If I find one in an area that I don't know, I'm probably going to default to it.
I can still fondly remember driving through Smoot, Wyoming and stopping at the Pizza Hut there.
Smoot,
Wyoming. I think the population's like 300, but they got a Pizza Hut, and it's the only real restaurant in town.
That falls into a fast food, doesn't it?
It's a
fast
chain.
casual.
We're talking chains.
I think in general.
I thought you were referring more to the Chili's and the TGI Fridays of the world, where you can sit down and have a meal and a cocktail or a beer or something.
Yes, those I think are fading.
That's kind of
because I think they're facing more competition.
Okay, that's what I was kind of referring to.
But when I was, I guess
because we were talking about breweries.
When I was talking chain, I was talking like Olive Garden and like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the same category I'm saying. A Pizza Hut doesn't fall into that category.
Oh, I disagree. You're sitting down.
There's no alcohol.
I think it's anywhere that you're sitting down and getting service.
But the whole conversation was brought up because of breweries. That was Mike's ultimate point.
Yeah, I wasn't reading it as
an
an alcohol
thing. I do think the chain
thing.
restaurants that don't serve alcohol are kind of screwed.
Yeah. There was one in my town that opened up. It was a nice family-run restaurant. They didn't have their liquor license. They didn't have alcohol. It closed.
Yeah.
You know what segment I think is in for a rude awakening that no one's talking about? Is the fast casual space. It's gotten too expensive.
Would that be like the Shake Shacks, Chipotle's
Okay.
of the world?
Chipotle, Shake Shack, Panera?
You know, it's a great example. Have you seen Panera's new chicken sandwich? Have you tried it?
No.
Yeah.
It's good. It's $11.
Right.
I'm like, what?
You go to
Why wouldn't I
Chipotle?
just go to Chick-fil-A?
You go to Chipotle, you can't get out of there for $15.
Right.
And you're like, why am I doing this? It was one thing when I could get a giant burrito that would put me into a food coma for $9.
Sure.
It's another when it's $15. Why am I'm just going to go sit down somewhere and have someone serve me for $15.
Have we reached peak fast casual?
I put it on the board. I don't know what that prediction is.
A decade from now, there'll be fewer fast casual chains.
Chuck, fast casual.
Dead.
Today.